and welcome to the Oddity Archive. This show where today...
It's a love thing.
Pure sex appeal. So, we're floating right around Valentine's Day here, and I guess I'm kind of unintentionally dressed for the occasion. So, I think it's a good time to inject a little love into the archive. And I don't mean Mike love, I mean romance. But of course, yeah, this being the archive, it is going to be a little warped. You should know that by now. So anyway, I've got 3 truly romantic videos that I want to take a look at today. And like a nagging spouse, which is actually something of a recurring theme today, these are so dense with dialogue that I will never get in a word edgewise. And this was going to be a VHS Vault episode, but I just can't make it work within that framework. So we're going to have to settle for some extended, kind of found footage fest styled montages. So anyway, getting down to business here, today's first video was part of a viewer donation. And she sent me 3 tapes out of this series of at least 6 tapes, so I've got at best half of it. And I would ask her and anyone else, please do not send me any more of these because I will never cover them. I watched them all straight through, due diligence. And these are some of the most deathly boring videos I have ever seen. They're just videotaped seminars, and he's not a terribly engaging speaker. So with that, why am I covering this? Well, for whatever weird reason, one of these tapes ends with a, call it half-hour in-studio group session. And so I just want to focus on that one part of that one video. So anyway, to bring everyone up to speed here, these come to us by way of a self-proclaimed marriage counselor of sorts by the name of Gary Smalley, who, full disclosure, passed away a few years ago. But even though his work was at best only loosely religious, for whatever weird reason, a lot of Christian communities just latched onto him. And this kind of worries me because I would say 98% of his marriage advice is just platitudes. And then the other 2% is just downright nutty. So I guess what we're going to focus on. So anyway, finally getting down to the video in question, we've got Hidden Keys to Loving Relationships, Volume 4 from 1993. So the one part that I've been referring to revolves around couples who just can't seem to tell each other how they feel, specifically those that for whatever reason just can't seem to spit out a good "I love you." So what Smalley does here is he has his couples speak in what he refers to as word pictures. And to me, that seems a little reductive in and of itself, reducing your whole relationship, your whole marriage into just, a sentence or two. So anyway, for example, one of these guys likens his marriage to a time where he's driving down the road and just by some freak occurrence, a stray dog runs up out of the ditch and into the side of his moving vehicle. And they only get weirder from there. So anyway, I am taking a fair amount of this out of context, but in my own defense, even if I played this for you straight through all 28 minutes or so, some of the lines that these people drop are no less of a jolt in context.
I feel like an expectant father because I really do feel like something great is going to be born in your relationship from this last session. Word pictures. I mean, I know that there's been some things you've wanted to say to your mate or your friend, and they just haven't seemed to understand it or even care at times. Well, now we get a chance to interact with these couples again and things they've wanted to share, with their mate, and they didn't seem to, get it the way they wanted them to, so they made a word picture.
And she reminded me of some years back when we were driving along and the dog came out of the ditch and ran right into the side of our van and spun off. Well, instantly, she reminded me, I pulled over.
Big bang.
Yeah, just heard the noise, and your heart kind of sinks, and pulled over right away, ran back, and, you know, tried to do what you could and realized that, fortunately, didn't run over it.
Well, I was trying to express, you know, the way I wish he would treat me. That he gave that dog so much compassion and love because he injured it accidentally.
Right.
I mean, he never intends to injure me.
So he's been throwing those little pebbles, and they're building up, and so now it's a pretty good-sized rock. Wham! Side of the car, ditch, bleeding.
And then I go silent, and he
Okay.
knows that I'm injured.
Yeah. There's times where he's going to hit you. Let's say you've run out. Let's say you're a woman and you've run out on the street, and he's hit you. Let's say he had the music so loud in the car that you didn't even notice it.
So we use the analogy of a tennis game, where when Barb would send a sentence over to me, I'd let's let it go. I'm not going to. There it goes, and she'll send another one over the net, and I let it go, and pretty soon she's slamming those balls over as fast as she can, and then I'll feebly put out my little racket, and I'll maybe pop one back, and it floats up to the net, and she rushes up and smashes it down my throat. I need my balls to bounce and come up nice and high, and then I'll hit them back to you. But I can't, all these balls coming at me, there's no way. We have a puppy, a little, and I would picture her as this puppy because she's stable, she gives me unconditional love, she's always available, she's always happy, she's always up, she's always enthusiastic, and I tend to get down once in a while, and she's always there, and I might not even feed her once in a while, and she'd still be bounding up, saying how wonderful I am.
And the example that I used was being a race car driver. That I have an image of myself out there wanting to do the best, and the goal is driving this Formula One race car until I.
So it's Formula One. It's not a Porsche.
It's the real thing. You know, I mean, I want to qualify for Indianapolis 500, and I want to get the checkered flag. In the process of doing that, I see Trish and the kids as my pit crew. And they sometimes feel like it's the pits. And they hold up the numbers and they tell me how many more laps I got to go until I come home at 5:30 in the evening or 6 or whatever it is. Well, then after a while, it's like I'm coming in and I'm give me my water. I got to get a drink of water. I'm thirsty. You know, change the tires, get the gas. I got to go. And in the process of doing that, I'm losing track of them. I'm not saying, gosh, you guys are the greatest pit crew. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to drive this car. They stop holding numbers up. I don't know how many more laps I got to go. You know, I run out of gas sometimes on the track, and I'm embarrassed in front of all these people in the stands because it's like, hey, we don't care whether he finishes or not. You know, I mean, big deal.
So
we start letting air out of the tires, so he'll slow
They're sticking nails out there on the track before I run out.
When Rich gets real bad, I just say, Rich, you know, it's starting to feel like my family.
Ooh.
I think of us as, I've always loved music boxes and the little dancers on top, and the man is holding the woman, and they're going around and they're dancing to the beautiful music. We have the music and we dance together.
10 years ago, what was that box like?
It broke, I threw it.
And I don't think a lot of times we realize how deeply we feel things when word pictures are used. So I just encourage you to continue it, and I know they will improve and encourage your relationship.
Over time, I've kind of grown to like it when I find that occasional archivism that was initially geared towards women. Because traditionally, be it content or tech, archivisms do tend to be more guy things. Who'd have thunk it? So yeah, it was a bit of an occasion finding this one. So our next tape is The Art of Meeting Men, originally known as How to Pick Up Men. But I guess that title was maybe a little too blunt. But we're going to head back to 1984 for this one. And admittedly, I was initially kind of hoping for a little inside baseball with this tape. But of course, I wouldn't be that lucky. The Dr. Elliot Jaffa listed on the front here is indeed a dude. Or maybe just Greek. So anyway, Dr. Jaffa, a behavioral psychologist, is, as of my making this, still at it. He is now pushing 80 years old. And this does alarm me slightly because this does not feel like the work of a scientist, so to speak, as it feels like just getting a glimpse into some dude's fantasies. I mean, I don't even begin to pretend to be an expert on women, but I just cannot envision any of this stuff working in the real world, today or back then. But who knows, maybe I'm off base here. So, ladies, feel free to chime in the comments. So, one last little point of business before we start. Unlike the last tape, this is one that I really would like to run in its entirety, but it clocks in at about 58 minutes. So, yeah, I think it would kind of kill the pacing of the show. So, I have posted this separately in its entirety elsewhere. You can peruse at your own leisure.
I really hate eating by myself. Are there any gentlemen here who might want company? Oh, Dutch treat, of course.
Hi, I'm Elliot Jaffa, and what we're going to talk about is how to pick up men. Let me briefly run through my qualifications. A lot of people say, how are you qualified to teach this type of class, how to pick up men? By training, I'm a behavioral psychologist. I'm still single. I'm still heterosexual. Now, I want to let you know this is not nursery school. This is not assertiveness for sissies. This is not advanced meekness. This is hardcore. We're talking pickup. Now, let's first talk about the traditional meat markets, and I don't know if you spell that M-E-E-T or M-E-A-T. I want you to assess whether you're Miss Sunshine or Miss Doom and Gloom. Because let's look at the two characteristics. Miss Sunshine is a positive person.
I'm upbeat, I make things happen, I'm not afraid of rejection, and I take risks.
Miss Doom and Gloom is looking for every possible negative.
It's too hot, it's too cold, it's raining out, I won't know anybody.
The closer he gets, the better looking he gets. You have to have this man. You have to pick him up, but he's getting closer. And remember, if he passes you, it's just like a football touchdown. All he has to do is cross that imaginary plane. And if he crosses you, he's out of your life completely. You can't say, Shane, Shane, come back, Shane.
Excuse me, I wonder if you could help me. Can you point me in the direction of the post office, please?
Your problem is you're going in the wrong direction. The post office is 2 blocks in that direction.
No wonder I can't find it.
Yeah.
And you could stand in front of the mirror practice. Oh, no wonder I'm having trouble finding it.
Gee, Les, I don't know if you're married, engaged, or in love, but would you like to get together one day next week and have a cup of coffee or a drink?
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea.
Oh, good. I'm pleased. Great.
Most men will like that approach. They love to be picked up. Now, you ask a man to borrow a pen. A man keeps a pen in one of 2 places, either the breast pocket of his jacket or his shirt pocket. So you say,
Excuse me, do you have a pen I could borrow?
he pulls the pen out. Now, as long as you have his pen, what's he going to do?
Track you down. With you.
He's going to stay with you. He's not going to say,
Yeah, that's a gold cross. You can keep it. I have several more at home.
As long as I have your pen, why don't you give me your name and phone number?
It's Steve.
best thing to do is pick a bright, big, airy, huge supermarket where a lot of single men shop. Go up to a checker. Ask the checker, when is the best time to come in here to meet men between 25 and 32? When's the best time to pick up men? Maybe you better not use the word pick up. When do most single men between 25 and 35 shop? Now, where's the best department to pick up men? Obviously, the meat department. What you do is you go into the meat department, wait till a man looks good to you, pick up a steak and say, "Excuse me, how long are you supposed to boil this for?" That's exactly what you want to do, is to get a smile, to get a chuckle out of him. Because if he looks at you like, "What are you, a weirdo? Do you want anything to do with him?" No. Absolutely not. So what you do is you go to the produce department, the second best place to pick up men. Whatever you do, ladies, please, don't pick up a cucumber. And then the next thing to do is to go for the clothes. Simply say to the man, "Last one through the checkout line buys coffee." Most men are going to like that. They're going to like women who are gutsy. Just imagine yourself in a supermarket. You have your cart, and you say, "Oh, let's see, I need a blonde." Put a blonde in your cart. "Oh, I'm low on redheads. Let me take a redhead." And, "Oh, I better pick up a couple brunettes." And you put a couple brunettes in your cart. That's what picking up men is. You're going shopping. Whenever you see a man carrying packages.
Hi, can I help you? Something?
Oh, hi. Yeah.
You got another light one?
Thanks.
I can take a light one.
Yeah, that's the light one there.
Great, okay.
Thanks very much. My house is over there.
Oh, okay.
My name's Michael. What's yours?
Helene.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, sure.
You're going to come like his nitrous and shining armor.
Hi, you want to share my umbrella? But you have to carry it.
Were you going that way?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, well, sure, why not?
Oh, great, good. My name is Linda.
Oh, hi, my name's Stan.
Nice to meet you, Stan.
Nice to meet you.
Ask the man if you could join him. As the hostess is showing you to your table, turn to two men and say,
Excuse me, gentlemen. I hate eating alone. May I join you?
Well, sure. Please sit down.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
My name's Steve.
Hi, I'm Eva.
Hi, and this is Howard.
Hi, nice to meet you, sir.
Another thing, remember also at the airport, what do we usually say? We usually say to people, "Watch my stuff." Right? No one's going to go through your stuff. It's not like soon as you go to the ladies' room, soon as you go to buy a magazine, that there's somebody going through your baggage. But we always feel comfortable by saying to someone, "Watch my stuff." Reach in your purse, give them a business card. Kathy Jones, brain surgeon. No job too large or too small. Daytime, nighttime, Saturdays too. Right? There's a sense of humor.
Excuse me. Would you mind taking a picture of my dog and me?
Oh, no.
It's all set to go. I think it's all.
Okay.
Okay? Won't take you a minute.
Easy one to use,
Thank
eh?
you. Just snap it right there. Okay. You
Yeah,
ready?
some
Look at the
focus and
camera.
everything?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, look at the camera. Darling, yes,
Okay,
darling.
smile.
Oh, thanks.
go.
Okay. Oh, well, let me take one of you real quick. Okay?
Okay.
Good. His name is Boaz. Go ahead.
Oh, with the dog.
Yeah, hi, excuse me. I'm doing an article on pickup lines. I wonder if you could tell me the most unusual line that a woman has ever used on you.
Well, I guess it was when the woman came up to me and said she was doing an article on pickup lines and what was the most unusual line I'd ever heard.
There's been lots of marriages. That's what I want to know about. So tell us what happened. Tell us of your successes. Invite us to your weddings.
Today's last video is another one that I would just love to be able to run in its entirety, but again, it's just not going to happen. So once again, I will post this separately in its entirety. Now, for the sake of argument, let's just say that How to Pick Up Men actually somehow magically worked for you. You met someone and now you're getting married. But you're kind of vapid and a total asshole to boot. Well, have no fear, Miss Manners is here. So, to fill in the uninitiated, Miss Manners is effectively the pen name of newspaper advice columnist Judith Martin, who is still at it today, as of my making this at least. And so, as the name would imply, Miss Manners is all about etiquette. And to make it even better, her character is kind of a walking anachronism, harkening back to the Victorian era, right down to the hairstyle. And she's a bit of a harpy to boot, so it all fits together real nice and neat. But anyway, for whatever strange reason, someone, perhaps Martin herself, thought it would be a good idea to bring this character of sorts into the video era. And the end result was Miss Manners on Weddings from 1986. Well, this was misguided. Martin comes off as even more stern and snarky in person as opposed to her newspaper column, and she can come off as stern and snarky in that. But I guess by the same token, in her defense, the couple she's trying to help throughout the video deserves it big time. Now, to make matters worse, Martin has a pretty nasty, kind of Eddie Deason-styled lisp, so she kind of talks like this. And this video clearly had almost zero budget, and so the whole thing just kind of comes off as a really, really long SCTV sketch. And actually, come to think of it, I'm kind of surprised Andrea Martin, no relation, never did a Miss Manners parody, because she could totally pull off the look and the character. But anyway, no matter how tongue-in-cheek this video gets, and to its credit, it does, all it really succeeds in doing is scaring any half-sane person away from marriage.
The estate of matrimony is a special one and not to be entered lightly, but rather with self-examination, mutual commitment, and personal resolve. Do you, Dirk Scott, take Samantha Hope, here present, to be your lawful wedded wife?
Nobody asked your opinion. It's my wedding, damn it!
Do you, Samantha Hope, take Dirk Scott, here present, to be your lawful wedded husband?
If you want to know my opinion, I think it's all just a big waste of money. Why don't you just give us what it costs, and then we can buy some terrific video equipment?
Just a minute. You have some qualms, don't you, about marrying somebody who seems that greedy and selfish? Let's do it all over and see if we can make it better.
So? Think we should?
Should what? Oh. Well, sure. Why not?
Now, is everything all right here?
No! You call that a marriage proposal?
What? Are you serious? Samantha, I love you madly. I can't bear to think of life without you. Will you marry me?
Oh. Yes, Dirk. I guess we can deal with it.
The first thing that happens after the engagement is that his family calls on hers.
I'm sure they're perfectly lovely people.
I'm sure.
Dirk, if he thinks he's going to bring that bimbo he's now calling his wife, I'm not going to be there.
See? She wants to run everything, but guess who she expects to pay all the bills?
Will you two please try not to do this in front of us drivers? They're very refined people. I don't want them to get the wrong idea.
Just keep her off my back.
Ever since I was 6 years old, I dreamed of having a long lace dress with a cathedral train. I want a blusher veil and a regular illusion veil all the way down the back. And I want a crown of flowers in my hair, and I want it to match my bouquet. And I might want to carry a parasol. And I want real white silk stockings with appliques on the insteps. Henry, I sort of asked Daddy to walk me down the aisle.
Daddy? You mean your biological daddy?
Please, about the band, find one that can play some music we can dance to, because I don't want to be blasted silly.
Nobody gets to eat or drink before you do?
You know, if you want to know my opinion, I think that it's just a big waste of money. I mean, why don't you just give us what it costs, and then we can get some terrific video equipment?
Nobody asked your opinion. It's my wedding, damn it! Why can't we have normal families like the ones in the wedding charts?
What the hell is puce?
Never mind about the puce. Please stop trying to force your family and friends into set roles that you or anyone else envisions for them.
Small children in miniature versions of the gowns and tuxedos are being done by the very best people. Of course, you saw the royal wedding on television. We'll need something special to distinguish the groom from the rest of the boys, and I see the mothers in picture hats.
Children scare me, although little tykes in mini tuxedos might be a nice touch.
Well, I don't care if the reception's across the street from the ceremony. I mean, you're still going to need at least 5 limousines. Well, I mean, you can't expect the bridesmaids to walk in long gowns now, can you?
3 musicians? Look, why don't you just rent a monkey and an accordion?
You'd think they'd be ashamed giving her a big wedding like that.
Yeah, those kids have been telling us all for years now. They don't need a legal commitment. I still remember the time she didn't come home from her junior prom.
I can think of at least 3 other reasons besides Dirk she shouldn't be married in white.
Yeah. Jennifer's boyfriend. Well, no, if they're engaged, of course, but otherwise we're just having our friends, people we already know. We do hope we'll see you there. Don't let them bully you into using your wedding reception as a nightclub to entertain their guests.
Okay, big smile now. Good, 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 good. All right, let's go over the candidates one more time. See, I find people get carried away.
At the reception, they start wandering around, socializing, whatnot. I just can't get what I want for the album. Give me warm, sir. I need more warm. Good. All right, so, start the morning. Shooting the bride, getting dressed, don't worry, just seen a million of them. And mother putting up back of dress, maid, arranging, veil, undo, meditate, and let your hair relax. Good, good, good.
Is this going to be a wedding or a photo opportunity? And this is just a still photographer. Wait till you talk to the videotaper and the oral historian.
Aunt Reba needs a hotel room. Oh, Fiona's shoes don't fit. What about the bridesmaids, Krista?
Oh, I was afraid of this, remember? Oh, can we now forget about childish fantasies and spending money in vulgar ways to impress people? Yes, we all decided to go on with the wedding. The guests are arriving on time. Oh, look, there's the second Mrs. Dearborn, Courtney. It was conceded that she is legally married and cannot be excluded or even subtly humiliated. They had to tie Fiona to a chair to do her up like this, but she was secretly pleased with the result. Nicole was allowed to remain pregnant. Megan has resolved to make bathroom curtains out of her dress tomorrow, figuring that that will be the only use she will get out of it again. The bride's father is giving her away because he is her father, regardless of his credit rating. Bye-bye, dear.
Okay.
This was not a perfect wedding, fortunately. Even if they could have controlled everyone's behavior, if everything had gone off exactly as pre-planned, well, there wouldn't be anything to remember later, except the rerun of a stiff or childish and selfish dream. But let us hope it was not the happiest day of this young couple's life. In that case, we would have to believe that everything from this moment on, meaning the marriage itself, would all be downhill.
To close things out, I want to play at least some of one song from one particular album. And of course, it'll spill into the end credits. But this is from an album that I've had kicking around for as long as, if not slightly longer, than I've been making archive. This was one of the first so-called weird albums I ever pulled out of a thrift store bin. But the problem is that it's just not all that weird. It's just a lounge singer's album. But I think you'll figure out pretty quickly why I'm closing on this one. So anyway, this is from the apparent sole release of one Bobby Chambers of Chicopee, Massachusetts. And I can't find anything online about this guy. This album is listed on Discogs, but that's about it. So if his own liner notes are to be believed, and you'll see them soon enough, he shared stages with the likes of Sammy Kaye and Robert Goulet, and he actually sounds quite a bit like Robert Goulet. But he also claims to have appeared on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson at some point, back when it was based in New York. But a cursory spin through the Carson episode guide didn't turn anything up, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here and say that he did appear on Carson at some point. But at the same time, when it comes right down to it, I think we can safely say that this is one of many, many nameless, faceless lounge singers. The sort that you would see in the resorts of the northeastern U.S. way back when. This is just pure Borscht Belt kind of stuff. So anyway, the album in question is a rather enigmatic little concept album called Songs to Kiss By. And dig that generic artwork. So I have no idea when this thing dates to, but I'm gonna guess somewhere in the 1965 to 68 range. And if we take a look at the man himself, well, he bears a pretty good resemblance to Raymond Perry Mason Burr. Either that or that is a picture of Raymond Burr. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, if you can read the track list from this shot, you'll notice that all but 2 of the songs have the word kiss in the title, and so the concept should be apparent now. And the lyrics to every single song, at the very least, references the act of kissing. So there you go. Anyway, let's close things out here and close out this ultra-romantic day with some of the most hammy lounge singing that you'll hear this side of Bill Murray.
Cha-cha-cha, you have never been kissed if you haven't been kissed by Rosalina. You have never been loved if you haven't been loved by Rosalina. I would fly to Zanzibar just to see her cha-cha-cha. Who would ever think I'd be honeymooning in Capri with Rosalina, my Rosalina? How my heart goes papa. Rosalina, lovely Rosalina. You have never been kissed if you haven't been kissed by Rosalina.
So I had the lemon in my ear, and the guy looks at me and he says, say, do you know you have a lemon in your ear? And I said, well, you've heard of the guy with the hearing aid? Well, I'm the guy with the lemonade.